My beautiful people, welcome back to your Monday episode on SOLT at 7. Thank you so much for interacting with us and our guests. If you miss any of our conversations, you can always go back to our social media platforms on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. Stay tuned with what conversations we put forward here on SOLT 7. And again, we invite you to please share our social media platforms within your community and get the SOLT 7 family growing. Now let's have our last conversation, and it's an invitation for you to join the Divine Mercy's 25th anniversary celebration. Today we're going to find out, what are some of the accomplishments in 25 years, and of course, how can you get involved in what the Divine Mercy is doing. Joining us on our couch, we have Father Scott Giuliani and Miss Rachel de Ocampo joining us from the Divine Mercy. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, good morning.
How is your Monday energy today?
It's moving slow, but it's
moving slow.
Very peace and a lot of peace, but we're getting there. Yeah.
Slow and steady is good.
Slow and steady is good.
I like that. How about you, Miss Rachel?
I'm good. I got up much earlier than usual.
Thank you so much for the effort to be with us today, for sure. So let's start talking about the Divine Mercy. So it's the 25th anniversary. It's upcoming in 2 weeks. Yep. So if you could reflect on what has transpired in the last 25 years at the Divine Mercy, what would that look like?
I guess it's best to start where it began. I mean, we really, being a people of faith, we really see this community as a work of God. In the plan in God's province, as a gift to Belize, gift to Belizean people, proclaiming God's mercy. And there's such a need for this mercy right now. I think there's a lot. This year is a Jubilee of hope. And sometimes people feel so distanced from God. Sometimes it hurts from our own family, keep us from, whether it be a distant father or suffering abuse. And sometimes our own past sins can keep us from even approaching religion or God and can jade our understanding. And so to have a message of there's a mercy that brings hope, I think that desire is very important. The fact that beginning all the way from Jesus, we say a private revelation that spoke about this message before World War II. And from that little hidden place, it spread all over the world and to the hearts of some Belizean women here, Miss Carmen Burnett being one of them, was inspired to go and talk to Bishop O.P. Martin, the first Belizean bishop here. And they had this conversation, and she boldly said, like, I want this church to be called Divine Mercy. Right? So and Bishop O.P. Martin said, well, usually a church is named after a saint. I've never never thought that before. And according to his discernment, he said, no, we'll do it. This is and he must have seen that this message was important for Belize in his discernment. And from that, we're just trying to be faithful to that grace for the 25 years.
How long have you been a member of the church, Miss Rachel?
Since 2002, I started going there.
So that's like a little after its establishment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. When we had our first SOLT priest, the community that Father is from, he invited me and my then fiance to attend Divine Mercy Church because I grew up in St. Joseph.
Okay.
And we were just really drawn to the spirituality of SOLT. So we continued going. We got married there. We had all of our children receive their sacraments there. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. So 25 years is definitely, a big accomplishment in the establishment of a church. And, I'm sure the population has been growing and the message that you're sharing in one way or another has been impactful in the community. So how are we celebrating 25 years? I'm very curious.
So many things. Right now, this year is also the Jubilee year, and Divine Mercy is one of the sacred pilgrimage sites. So we are inviting people, especially lately we've been having school children from the Catholic schools come and visit the church, and we do some presentations with them and teach them about the Divine Mercy message, which began in the 1930s with a poor, uneducated nun, Sister Maria Faustina Kowalska from Poland. Jesus gave her many revelations, and one of them is the Feast of Mercy, which we will be inviting you all to, because that's our anniversary where we'll be celebrating, which is the Sunday after Easter Sunday.
Okay. So the feast, tell us more about that. What time does it start and who's invited?
Yeah, the liturgical feast, so there's a 9-day lead up from Good Friday.
Okay.
So this fountain of mercy comes from Jesus' death on the cross. We're in Lent right now, so from his heart, in John chapter 19, his heart was pierced, blood and water poured out. And this is where it is. So for 9 days, there's special prayers, and one of which is the Chaplet of Divine Mercy, which was also shared. And it's really just a devotion, right? So every church should proclaim to God's mercy. It's his greatest attribute. This is the great message that Jesus brought to us, his great mercy. However, Divine Mercy would emphasize the devotion that was given. And so the Chaplet of Divine Mercy is a special devotion, a form of prayer to meditate on the death of Christ and plead for God for mercy for ourselves and the whole world. And so for each day, we're asked to bring a certain group of people to his mercy. And just so it's a prayer of intercession, because we do travel together. You know, what happens when you die? Oh my goodness, all these different questions. And it's nice to know when you're walking with someone. And so with Divine Mercy, it's just a reminder that we're walking with each other where we're going, and hopefully heaven, right? And we're helping each other get there. And it gets messy at times. Sometimes people fall away, some people come back, and we need that help. And so the Novena Divine Mercy, every day, we bring a group of people before the throne of God for that mercy. And then, in fact, we have something called adoration at the church. And this has been very difficult. You talk about accomplishments, if you can, funny word to say it, but the growth of devotion is that the people of Divine Mercy, and I would say the Catholic faith, they pray 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. These people coming at 2 o'clock in the morning to pray before the Blessed Sacrament and just pray for you, for the country. And we're sleeping, right? We may not know it. There's people at 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning. And so this will be going on through these 9 days, continuing going on. And then finally, the great feast of mercy, where the floodgates of mercy are open. Jesus said, if you were to gather all the sins of the world, right, the genocides, the war, the heat, and whatever, you name the sin, he said, if you were to combine it all together, right, think about the horrors of the human history, right? Combine it all together, he said it would just be a drop in the ocean of his mercy. You know, I remember reading that when I wasn't practicing my faith for a long time. I remember reading that, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. There's hope for me, right? And so in Divine Mercy Sunday, we have this huge celebration. And so from this year, from 10 to 5, so we're going to have 5 hours of confession. Confession is a place where we encounter with God, the loving mercy of the Father, a new beginning. So for 5 hours, so we have 4 to 8 priests that will be there. And so confession will be going for 5 hours that day. So you receive the grace of that day. We only have one Mass, and it's 3 in the afternoon. 3 in the afternoon is important. It's called the Hour of Mercy. My phone's set to it, right? Because it's the hour that Jesus died.
Okay.
Right? And so this also is revealed that at that hour, we just want to remember what he's done for us, right? And so then the Mass will happen at that time, and there's different celebrations. The community has been working hard to refurbish the sanctuary and to make it all more sacred encounter for God. And then after, there's a procession with the Blessed Sacrament throughout the streets. And that goes around for another hour or so, and then the evening goes to celebration of food and friendship. And,
wow!
Yeah, so it really is a great celebration. I think the most powerful moment is really the lines of confession that are happening on the day, because people are coming here for new beginnings, and thank God for the brother priests that come out to help us out, because we'd never be able to do it. And so our goal is to make sure that everyone who wants to go to confession can go on that day. And so we're hoping to get at least 8 priests that day. Okay. And so and I'm confident. Past years we've had it, but this is, of course, a special one.
Yeah, so, and do you have to be a member? Can like new persons?
Oh, it's wide open, right? Okay. So many people come from different communities, and people come from, especially on this day, right? And I think, well, some days one day we try to bring the homeless to join us. We try to make extra special room for those who are unable to travel, whether disabled or sick or elderly. And so, because we want the representation of the church, which is the family of Jesus, right? The family of God. And so we want to make space as much as possibly can for everyone who comes. And even persons who are not Catholic that come and celebrate now, because we're not in full communion, to receive communion, that wouldn't be possible at that point, right? We're praying that we'll get to that unity. But at the same time, the songs, the joy, the celebration, the prayer, unity prayers, there's so much we do unite on, so it's great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. So, Father Scott, Ms. Rachel, thank you so much for joining us today on the couch to talk about the 25th anniversary of the Divine Mercy. Extending the invitation for people to join. It's going to be 9 days of prayer, if I'm right. But also going to be a day full of activities.
Works of mercy, everything, yes.
Definitely,
yeah, sure.
definitely. So thank you once more for joining us. We wish you all the best on the activity. Of course, continue thriving on faith.
Sure
I think
thing.
faith, moves people, moves humanity, connects community, connects hearts. And
Faith and
that's
love.
really, at the end of the day, what we want.